Late last night, we found out that Maria's father is not doing well at the hospital. He had a heart attack, and then he was waiting to have surgery. And during the wait, he had a stroke. And basically, I don't understand the medicine behind it, but basically, what was preventing his care for the heart attack, basically they couldn't do what they needed to do for the heart attack because of the stroke, and they had a delay on the surgery. I think something to do with the blood thinners that they would need to put him on. Anyways, he's not doing well, and it looks like he's probably going to pass. I think they had the option of keeping him on, like hooked up to tubes and all this stuff. But he's someone who's worked in a lot of nursing homes, and he knew that life was not for him. He didn't want to be stuck to tubes. He didn't want that quality of life. And so it seems like he will opt to just pull the plug. And with that news, as well as William's heart attack just a couple weeks ago, just a whole lot on the family, and just really makes you think about your own, as any series of deaths would, right? It just makes you think about your own mortality. For example, my mom was texting me and asking me about, like, who did we have do our will, because I think she is realizing the same thing and trying to get her affairs in order. And it just made me think about a couple things. First thing is that, number one, I'm glad that our affairs are in order, and it's not something that we have to really think about right now. We have our will or our trust in place, both Amy and myself. I have life insurance, I have disability insurance, like all those things are set up, and I feel good that if something happened to me today, that my family would be taken care of, and that I did a good job of setting things up so that they'll be provided for should I die. The other thing was, I've had this idea in the back of my mind to do this family project where I go around and I interview family members and ask about their stories, and just get it all on tape before people start to pass. You know, like I have so many aunts who have gone through a whole lot, and once they are gone, those stories are gone. And I feel like I personally didn't do a good job of listening or capturing those stories earlier on. I think a lot of people would benefit, especially people who didn't get to know them quite as well. Like, I'm sure their children know their stories well. For example, Dai, right? I think Vincent and Will probably know her story very well. I'm sure they've had conversations about it, but like that knowledge will be less lost on the rest of the generations unless it's captured. And so just kind of a good wake-up call that this is something that if I want to do it, I need to do it soon. And so I think this week I need to buy some mics, get this all set up so we can start scheduling some interviews. And the third thing that this really helped shape is that recording these videos that I'm doing, it's a good thing. Like, it's good to have these. It's good to have as many records as possible of the person and getting to know their thoughts. I think about if my own dad passed tomorrow, and like, man, it would be a treasure trove to be able to go back and listen to how he thinks and listen to him talk and hear him process his thoughts and get a real good understanding of him as a person, which you know, even though you know someone, you don't know them as well. You can always get to know them better. You can always learn different insights into them that maybe you didn't quite have before. And so I feel like doing these videos is a good thing, and I need to keep them up, you know, even though sometimes it's inconvenient to do them or I don't have time. They're important. And I saw that you kind of like came up during the whole, I saw you kind of came up during Celtic Tiger, and like just looking at kind of when you got your degrees and when you kind of got into the scene. And I'm just like, dude, I'm just so fascinated by people who have gone through that, and it appears like they're doing well. But what was that like for you? I ended up at Reforge because I was working at this company called I Will Teach. Basically, we built courses on personal development stuff. So it was like fitness, it was starting your first like lifestyle business, food, personal finance, social skills. So I was with them for about 2 years, and then one of the people that I used to work with there put me in touch with Brian because Brian was looking for someone to develop courses, and that's how we connected and started. Brian basically pitched me on the mission of the company and trying to change higher education, and that kind of like just drew me in, and that's really something that I wanted to be a part of. So originally, like I think Buford mentioned on the call yesterday, I was mostly working on content before, and now we are looking for strategy leads to lead the content stuff, and I'm shifting over to product. And this is kind of like my first foray as a PM. So like just being able to learn from Buford and being able to learn from Dan and Brian is just, it's really incredible. It's like such a good opportunity to like get my pop my cherry with product while learning from guys who just are incredibly smart and incredibly good at this. And Dan's been really good with like explaining things and showing me kind of changing how I think about product and how it needs to be built and how to talk to engineers. So it's all brand new. And if at any point, like, dude, I have like no ego about work, and I realize that I'm brand new to it. So like, if there's any feedback or suggestions on better ways to communicate, or if I'm like being too prescriptive versus descriptive around the problem, like feel free to just let me know, because like, hi, big boy. Monty.